Trump signs a procedure that requires proving citizenship to voters and other measures to reform the United States elections. Hello viewers, welcome to Unboxing America. If you are celebrating new information, please like and subscribe to this video and hit the notification bell. New York, AP, President Donald Trump signed a comprehensive executive to reform elections in the United States, including a demand to prove documentary citizenship to register to vote in federal elections and demand that all ballot cards be received on Election Day. It says that the United States has failed to implement basic and necessary electoral protection and called on the states to work with federal agencies to share voter lists and prosecute election crimes. It threatens to withdraw federal funding from the states that election officials do not comply with. Watch, the Pentagon will send forces to the southern border to implement the Trump immigration campaign. This step, which is likely to face rapid challenges from voting rights organizations, is in agreement with Trump's long history of the wall against election operations. It often claims that the elections are forged even before the results are known, and he has launched battles against some of the voting methods since the 2020 elections were lost to Democrat Joe Biden and blamed them for a large-scale fraud. Trump in particular focused on voting on the mail, on the pretext without evidence that he was unsafe, and calls for fraud even when he transformed his position on the issue by looking at his popularity with voters, including Republicans. While fraud occurs, it is rare, limited in the range, and is tried. Proof of the documentary film of citizenship requirements indicates that the president is not waiting for the Republicans of Congress to pass the law of the located U.S. voters, or a rescue law, which was aimed at doing the same. Republicans defended this measure, as necessary, to restore the confidence of the public in the elections. Voting by non-employees already illegal and can lead to crime and deportation charges. Voting rights groups have expressed concerns that this condition could deprive people. An estimated 9% of American voting citizens, or 21.3 million people, have no evidence of the citizenship available easily, according to a report issued in 2023 issued by the Brennan Center for Justice and other groups. There are also fears that married women who change their names will face trouble when trying to register because their birth certificates recounted their names before marriage. Such hiccups occurred in the last city elections in New Hampshire, which has the new state law that requires proof of citizenship to register for voting. It also says that the votes must be cast and received by the election day, and says that federal financing should be conditional on the state's compliance. At the present time, 18 states and Puerto Rico accept the postal polling cards that were received after the election day as long as they are notified on or before that date, according to the National Conference of the State Legislative Councils. Trump's executive command is likely to face legal challenges, given that the Constitution gives power to the elections to the states. While Congress has the authority to organize voting, and this is done to pass like a vote rights law, the Constitution shows that countries have a basic power to put times, places, and method for elections. Jenna Gissoiwold, Democratic Secretary of Colorado, described it as a legal weapon of the federal government and said Trump is trying to make it difficult for voters to fight in the ballot box. Justin Levitt, an expert in constitutional law and a former White House policy consultant during the Biden administration, said the executive authority has some authority over the elections. He said that some federal agencies provide support for the elections, including the American Elections Assistance Committee, which distributes federal grant funds to the states and manages a voluntary certificate program for voting systems. The Cybersecurity Agency and U.S. infrastructure assist election officials to protect their systems. Former President Biden issued an executive order in 2021 as he directed federal agencies to take steps to enhance the registration of voters, which made complaints from Republicans who called it overt reach. Trump has eliminated this since then. Soon many Republican lawmakers and election officials praised the Trump step, including Brad Ravenback, Foreign Minister of Georgia. The barcode-based voting system in the state does not match the standards that Trump has called in order and will need change in order not to expose federal funding to the state. Thank you, President Trump, for this executive order to ensure that only American citizens are deciding the American elections, said Ravensburger. This is a great first step to reform election integrity at the country level. The matter is a welcome measure to secure our elections and prevent foreign influence. Trump referred to the fraud in the elections as he signed on Tuesday, saying, "This will end this, in hope." He added that more election actions will be taken in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to more information.